Us right now to weigh in, attorney and political commentator Danielle McLaughlin. Danielle, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. What do you make of this latest swipe from Schwarzenegger?
You've just got to laugh, I think.
Yeah.
These are two celebrity politicians who've been going at it against each other for quite some time now. Schwarzenegger makes some great points about public schools, about some of these other things that really the president does care about and should care about. But one thing I do like about this is that maybe it's bringing people into politics that maybe don't think about it that much.
It's true. Yeah.
It's embarrassing. I mean, it's just really, I think at some point it starts to look childish to people. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is trolling Trump just like Trump has trolled everyone else. So he's really taking right out of his playbook. And honestly, it benefits both of them to some aspect because it draws more attention to the show and to the president.
At this moment in time, people really want to see the progress on health care, and they want to see progress on tax reform. So we'll watch it, but at some point it is going to get to be a problem if this is continuing. But I want to move on to this. The San Francisco-based clothing company suing Ivanka Trump's brand, alleging unfair competition. They say Ivanka Trump has been, quote, exploiting the power and prestige of the White House for personal gain. Is there a real legal case here, Danielle, or is this just jealousy?
You have to say that anyone can bring a lawsuit. This is like one of the things that makes our democracy so great and so important. And I think the idea that political means or ideological means are not the reasons for lawsuits, we see this all the time. Actually, in the last 30 years, the Federalist Society has changed the law in a conservative direction by doing exactly this. The other thing I'll say is that for foreign and domestic emoluments, there isn't a lot of law out there. So the idea that a powerful presidency can create commercial gain, it's just we haven't seen this in the law before. So I think that they have every right to bring this case. I think from a California perspective, it's going to be difficult because they have to show harm to consumers. And frankly, consumers can make their own decisions as to whether they buy Ivanka stuff or not.
She's not wearing sweatshirts with the Ivanka label on them. She doesn't talk about her brand.
Ever.
Kellyanne Conway got in a little bit of hot water for jokingly saying go out and buy her clothing. But she ceded control of the Ivanka Trump clothing brand in January and has she's seated next to Angela Merkel, but she's not like given Angela Merkel Ivanka shoes to wear.
Right.
This is overstep.
Well, what about this? Because there's another lawsuit filed this month by a D.C. wine bar against the president and his Washington hotel. They're alleging that the president's ownership of the property is luring away customers and damaging the wine bar's business. Are the courts going to take these cases seriously? They're saying basically Trump has his hotel in Washington, but because he's the president, people are going to that hotel, and it's taking business away from the wine bar. Guess what? That's called free markets.
That's called competition.
No, it is. It is.
There's a million bars in D.C., right?
I know. No, absolutely. One of the things I think that's interesting about that case is that the lease, of course, for the old post office states explicitly that there could be no federal government ownership. And we still know that the president, through, I think, a number of holding companies, does have ownership, does have a connection to that lease. So there is a little nugget there that I think the plaintiffs can probably hold on to. But this comes, again, down to consumer harm and consumer choice. This is why we have these laws. And I suspect that it will be a hard road for these plaintiffs as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. Danielle McLaughlin, good to see you. Thanks so much for weighing in on all of this.